good afternoon, good evening, whenever you might be joining. This is Keeping It Real Estate with me, your host, Sara Delansig. And today we are going to talk about how to build the know, like, and trust factor for your real estate business. And surprisingly, as much as we hear these terms, know, like, and trust, oh my goodness, there's almost nothing out there about it. It is kind of ridiculous. When I was doing my research for this, obviously I do my own, like have my own points that I want to talk about and think about. But in this case, I was doing some research and I was looking on YouTube like I always do, and what ended up happening is there's like no videos about no like and trust, which is shocking. I mean, there's some out there, but they have very little views. So we're going to talk about how to build the know, like, and trust factor. And then at the end of this, we're going to listen to a call, a really awesome call that I had um, just last week. So it can be done with warm internet leads. I set a listing appointment and from a buyer ad as well. It was a Waterfront Homes ad. And I'm going to share that and we can kind of go over how I built rapport and how I got this person to know, like, and trust me. So if you are coming in on TikTok, just so you guys know, I'm doing a live video on how to build the know, like, and trust factor for your business. So I am doing this on Zoom and on TikTok. So I appreciate you being here. If you can tap the screen, like, share, do whatever if you find this helpful information. So let's get into it. All right, I got to find the little area that I was starting on. Okay, so I have I like kept editing what I was gonna say, so I gotta find the one that I want to actually use today. So give me just a second. Technology is so fun. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. All right. So, most sellers and buyers will only work with an agent that they know, like, and trust, especially for what is often the biggest financial transaction of their lives. So, this is something that we all know as know, like, and trust factor. And there's a difference between just being another agent and being the agent of choice, or if you are not in real estate, being, being the person that they want to work with. But this is called keeping it real estate, so we're talking real estate here. All right, so let's break down how you can move people through each stage. Know, like, and trust, especially when you're working with new leads or clients who don't quite know you yet. Now, people don't really work with someone that okay, people cannot work with someone that they don't know even exists. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is build the know factor. You have to be known, right? So if you are buying leads right now, they don't even know who you are. So your first job is to introduce yourself in a way that stands out and sticks with them. Okay. One of the ways that I've been utilizing that is by having people create videos. So if you don't know, I own an ISA company that stands for Inside Sales Agents, and I help real estate agents, which I am one myself, but this is my main gig. I help real estate agents connect with buyers and sellers through the ads that you click on. Like if you're on TikTok, which I haven't seen, I actually haven't done anything with TikTok. Mostly they just sell products, but for real estate agents, if you are clicking on their content on Facebook, Instagram, that kind of thing, and you want to know like how much your home is worth or something like that, then you might get a call from me on behalf of the agent who usually is too busy out there selling, and showing homes and things like that to actually make all the calls because they did it at such a high level that they can hire someone like me to do it now. And one of the ways that I have my clients build rapport is through video, and it really, really helps. Obviously, that's why I'm going live on TikTok and why I'm live on Zoom and why I ask you all to participate and join in on this so that you can help build your brand and become someone that's known so that you can be someone that they want to work with. Okay. So one of the ways that you can do this is through video. It was a lot more crucial when videos were able to be sent more through text than they are now. And so I would say if you are an agent that's making your own calls or something like that, video texts are going to be really crucial. Even voice texts are going to be helpful, because when you can see someone's face and you can feel their energy and you can tell that they're authentic and they have conviction in what they're talking about and they build authority, that is where you're really going to build the other two things after the know factor. So once you are known, then you will be liked and then you will be trusted because you have authority, you know what you're talking about. People feel the conviction when they talk to you or hear it in your voice, right? So um, video is a great way to do that. And one of my tips is to use short, authentic videos to show your face and voice. Okay. This will make you recognizable and it will start building familiarity before you even meet in person. I also ask buyer's agents to do this. I work Zillow leads for a really big team. And one of the cool ways to build rapport before a real-time tour, which a real-time tours are just clicking, a time to go see a home, and then it goes to a team, and then the team accepts the tour and it books it, blah, blah, blah. So you aren't even talking to the person. But one of the cool ways that you can build rapport is by sending a quick video, text or voice text, whatever you're comfortable with. But if you do video, I highly recommend, so they know what you look like and can see your face and feel your energy, right? And you can tell them, like, let's say you're going to go look at a piece of property that is on land and maybe it's not fully developed. So you want them to make sure they wear the right kind of shoes so that they are not tracking in mud, or they're not soaking their high heels or something like that, or slipping and falling down. So when you are going to show a home, you can do that. There are all kinds of ways that you can let people know and share your face and your authenticity with them through the process of buying and selling, when you first start and all of that sort of thing. So this is going to make you recognizable. It's going to make you familiar to everyone. This is going to help them to feel comfortable with you before you even start the process or meet them in person or even talk to them on the phone sometimes. All right. So just think about when a stranger calls you, you're hesitant. So this is literally, I am that stranger that calls you. Okay. I am the stranger. Most people are hesitant. But if they've seen something about me, which 9 times out of 10 they don't, but if I mention the agent that I'm talking about and they've already seen some videos of the agent, then they will automatically kind of let their guard down, be like, oh yeah, I've seen that person on YouTube or whatever the case may be. Like, I've seen their videos, I know what you're talking about. They automatically feel more comfortable because it's something that they recognize. People don't really like when they don't know why you're calling and they feel like you might be trying to scam them, and there are plenty of scammers out there. We all know that. So we want to immediately build rapport through video, through conviction, through authenticity, with video or voice text or something like that. And stage 2. Okay, so that is the recognition and awareness phase of the know, like, and trust factor. Okay, so now we're going to move into stage 2, which is the like part of this, which is connection and resonance. Okay, resonating with the people, resonating with what they're talking about. Not every buyer or seller is going to like every single agent. We all have different personalities. That is the beauty of it, right? We all have different personalities. And so we are all going to vibe with someone differently, right? I'm very outgoing. I'm very direct. And someone who's timid and shy as an agent wouldn't work for me. I need somebody that's going to be real with me, that's going to keep it 100 and keep moving, right? And sometimes I need that. So let me see what else we have here. Okay, so if you are buying leads, like, let's be clear, if you're buying internet leads, if you're buying Facebook leads, if you're buying any kind of leads online, they don't even know who you are yet. Okay, so your first job is to introduce yourself. Oh, we already went over that. Yeah, but introduce yourself in a way that sticks, which we just talked about. And then they're not all going to vibe with you. So your job is to attract everyone that is your ideal client. How do you attract your ideal client? You have to speak directly to them. Okay, you have to tell them exactly, like, I am looking for this type of person, right? And your energy is going to come through the screen and it's going to speak to those people, and those people are going to feel it, and then they're going to want to work with you. Okay. And there's a lot of ways you can do this. One of the best ways is, like, people are moving all over the country all the time, right? One of the best ways to do it is to make evergreen videos about the area that you work, right? Your market. Talk about your market. Talk about what's going on in your market. Talk about things to like and dislike. What are the pros and cons of living in Auburn, Washington. That's where I'm located. So, that would be what I would talk about if I were actually trying to sell real estate. Um, so think about those things when you are doing it. And if you don't know who your ideal client is, now I was a brand new agent once, and I know that you're like, I'll take any client. No, you will not. Okay. Trust me. That is the, jack of all trades, master of none. You don't want that. And you're going to find that you may take on a client who has completely unrealistic expectations, and they're not going to listen to you, and then you're going to end up just working really hard and not getting anything out of it in the end if you take on a client that is already asking way too much for their home, not being reasonable, not listening to or hearing you out. Thank you so much, Charles, for the gifts and the likes. I appreciate you so much. I'm trying to do this on 2 platforms, so bear with me, everyone, if I'm looking over here or looking over there. Okay. And plus I'm trying to read my notes so I can stay on track and not accidentally read the same thing twice like I did earlier. Okay. So show your personality, your values, and even your quirks. Like I just mentioned, I screwed up. We all screw up. Okay. We are human. We make mistakes, right? So just leave it in there. If you mess up, if you stumble over a word, if you have a little bit of a blooper, you can put them in at the end or you can leave it in there. But being perfect doesn't always resonate with people, because we're not. So don't obviously fumble over everything because you want to also be, like I said, the authority in your area. But, just leave in some of the things like you don't have to redo a whole video just because, your voice cracked or something like that. So, all right. Now, oh, and the other thing I was going to say is if you don't know who your ideal client is, you need to sit down and write this down. Like you have to imagine what is the best possible. Like how would it go? What do they look like? Like what's their budget? Where are they looking? What kind of home are they looking for? Whatever your ideal client is, you do know what it is and you need to write it down so that you can really focus on it because where our focus goes, attention grows. Or no, is that how it goes? Where our attention goes, our focus grows. Either way, you know what I'm trying to say. Law of attraction, right? Wherever you're putting your energy, oh yeah, where your focus goes, energy grows or something like that. Something like that. Where your attention goes, energy flows. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. Law of attraction. Okay. So just think about that because you're going to want to write it down. You're going to want to make sure that you understand what you're looking for. Don't be one of those brand new agents that's like, I'll work with anybody. I'll take anything. That's desperate. And that comes off as a certain type of, you know, that doesn't resonate well. Okay. That's going to turn things away from how you want them. All right. And then you can use humor, right? Okay. There are practical ways to build the like factor. Okay. You can share behind the scenes stories about your day as an agent. You can use humor in relatable moments, not when it's inappropriate, obviously. You can show empathy for the stress a client feels. Oh, I have a story about this. So yesterday, I call pre-foreclosures and sheriff sale sellers very maybe it was the first time they bought a home and now like whatever happened, maybe COVID hit. A lot of these are, from COVID and they had a forbearance and now their money is due and they don't know, how to get out of the situation very well. And a lot of times they end up making a deal with the bank and the bank takes and makes them owe all this money when they could sell the home and actually make some money out of it to go and find a different place. So I talked to a woman yesterday and she called me back and and she was kind of telling me her life story and everything, and in that instance I was very empathetic, and it's not because I have to remind myself to be empathetic. Okay, if you have to tell yourself to do this, then maybe you're in the wrong business. But I was very empathetic with her because that's a crap situation. I almost said something else, but TikTok would not let me. That's a not good situation. Okay, you don't want to be in that situation where where you're not sure if you're going to be able to pay the bills. And so I listened to her, and by the end of it, I was like, hey, best of luck with everything. And she's like laughed at it and she's like, I'm so glad I took your call. And basically it was just like a really uplifting moment because I ended up listening to her and letting her know there's alternative. There's other ways to get out of her situation. She doesn't have to make a deal with the bank. It doesn't have to be this big thing. Thank you so much for joining. You guys, I am so sorry. I am like on 2 different lives here and I'm just starting this out. So I really appreciate you, Amanda, for joining my team. Thank you so much. So yeah, so let's talk about some of the other things that you could do because you need to reflect on things. Okay, so if you are buying a home, you need to understand that everyone is going to make a decision every time you speak. Everybody that's on this live, everybody that's on this live, y'all are listening to me and you're thinking like, do I like this person? They get me? Is what they're saying resonating with me? Right? These are the things that everyone is thinking when we are speaking and why people are tapping the screen and liking what I'm doing and supporting me on here right now and on here as well. So if you like what I'm saying, then you're going to stay. If you don't, move on. Totally fine. Right? So that is stuff that you need to think about when you're trying to build that like factor and connection and resonating with people. So be very clear about your clientele, who you're trying to work with, and what you want out of it. Okay, so stage 3 is going to be the trust factor, which is credibility and authority. And we already kind of talked about authority, but we'll get into this again. And you guys, I'm going to try to play a call recording of a listing appointment I set last week from a waterfront buyer ad on Facebook. I think it was Facebook or Instagram for one of my clients. I'm going to try to play it. I know I can play it on Zoom. I was trying to install the TikTok studio on my computer, but technology was not on my side this morning, nor was time. So I'm going to try to play it and I hope you guys can hear it. So we'll figure it out. But otherwise, you might have to get the YouTube recording to hear this call recording that I'm about to play. Okay, so credibility and authority. Trust is actually what converts a lead into a client because most people are not going to sell their home, like make the biggest purchasing decision of their lives with someone they don't trust. If I can't trust you with hundreds of thousands of dollars to make sure that you're going to price my home right, to do all of that sort of thing, then I mean, what are we doing? Find someone else, right? That doesn't make any sense, okay? So that's what's going to convert the lead into a client. And how do you build the trust? Obviously, you're going to share success stories and reviews and testimonials. You're going to be very transparent about the process. You're going to set clear expectations for your clients, for yourself. You're going to hit those goal points. Like if you are like every week on Friday, I'm going to update you on the status of your listing. Then do it. Make sure that they know exactly what they can expect from you and make sure that you have that all laid out and that you don't miss any of those, those check-in points that you need to be doing. All right. Video again is going to play a really big role here because the more people that see and hear you consistently, the more credible and trustworthy you become. Hence, I'm going live in 2 different spots right now. Okay. So I know that what I'm talking about, I feel very confident in, right? And I say this almost every week, but I'm going to say it again. In order to become confident in something, you have to become consistent in it first. So you have to do it over and over and over again, right? And once you are consistent, then you will become competent. And competent just means like, you're comfortable with it. Like now it's not a struggle. It's not something that you're having to look up every time in order to make sure you're saying the right thing. And once you are competent, then you will become confident. All right. Consistency equals competency. Competency equals confidence. And that's the way it goes. All right. So let's use an example. When a client sees you talking confidently about the market every week on a video, then they'll naturally trust you more when it comes time to list their home. That's super true. I can't express enough. Sorry, I gotta move. My hand is gotta hold this one up. So make sure that you are using anything that you feel already confident in for your clientele, right? That's where you want to start. If you don't know where to start and you're one of those new agents, you're like, I don't know what I'm good at. Niche down to what you feel the most comfortable with. Niche down to what your ideal client looks like. Is it new construction? Do you do you work in the construction field and so you actually understand that better than others? Is it investment opportunities? Whatever the case may be, look really closely at it, and that's what you're going to want to start with. Whatever you are confident in or already competent in, that's where you should start. Okay. So let's just bring this all together, and then I'm going to play a recording, and I'm going to have to play it through my computer so that everybody on TikTok can hear it. It might sound a little strange, but we're going to rock it anyway. So yeah, clients aren't going to work with you until they know, like, and trust you. And video is one of the most powerful tools that can help you get there faster. Obviously, so is just being authentic, being real, being empathetic, understanding, listening. And so let's play this call recording. I'm going to have to set you down for a second here.
Yeah. Hello.
Hi, is this Anil?
Yeah.
Hi there. My name is Sarah. This may sound odd, but I work with the Fusion Real Estate team in Ann Arbor. And about a week ago, I think you requested a list of waterfront homes for sale in Livingston and Oakland counties.
I did. I did. I went on your site, I think.
Oh, okay. And you got the email of the properties, okay?
I don't think I got them. See, I was in Singapore. I just got back this morning, so I really haven't checked my mail in any detail.
Okay. So it would have been sent on 8/27 around, I want to say 2 p.m., maybe 3 p.m. But
Who would it come from?
it would come from. But that being said, are you working with a real estate agent to help you find something?
No, so it's so I have a small I mean I have a property on a small lake already, but I'm always looking out for more interesting options. That's why I did reach out.
Okay. Is there something like what would be the ideal home so we could maybe set up a search and give you more specific options?
Well, it's got to be 3 bedrooms, a 3 bedroom, 3 full bath. It's got to be a brick house, um, and yeah, nothing too huge. Maybe somewhere between 2 and 2,500 square feet, um, and that's it.
Okay, and you're comfortable with it being in Livingston and Oakland County?
In Oakland County is good.
In Oakland County. Okay, and then what would your budget be?
I don't have a specific budget right now.
Okay, that's fine, but it'll end up sending you everything from the lowest price point to like 27 million if we don't have some kind of cap
Well,
on it.
really, it's not. I mean, my overall budget is around the $700,000 to $800,000 mark, but I'm kind of little flexible on that.
Okay, perfect. And then as far as your current property, are you wanting to know what it might be worth if you were to sell it, or are you going to keep it and rent it out, or?
Well, I'm certainly not renting it out, but I might keep it. I might say I'm not. I haven't decided about that. But I just bought it about a year ago, spent an awful lot of money doing it up, and then I found that, basically I bought it for 475 and put about 200 into it.
Mhm.
Wow. I might keep it, I might not, I don't know. Because it was in a awful mess. But now, of course, everything is done. And it's on a small lake. But it would be interesting to know where it would stand, and then I can decide if I want to keep it or not. Because I know it's part of it's a condo,
Oh, okay.
but it's a standalone condo.
Oh, I actually live in one of those, and you can't even tell, at least with my property, you can't even tell it's a condo because it just looks like a house on a small lot. Is that a
Correct.
situation?
Correct.
Yeah.
Exactly the same thing here, except for me, the reason it's a wood house. Um, you can't quite do it exactly the way you want to do it. I'm fairly new to the country, so I could have checked all this stuff before. But it's a beautiful view from all the windows, etc. But yeah, it would be interesting to know what the price would be. Then I can decide if I'm going to stay, keep it, move, whatever.
Okay. So, Anil, would you be comfortable giving me the address and I can have, okay,
Yes, of course.
okay, what is it?
And if you look on Zillow, there are some photographs of it before it was done up or whatever. But, it was 2.5 baths. We made it into three, three full baths and all that. So we did a lot of work in the house.
Okay. So as you've done so much work, I can't just like give you a rough estimate. So Susan would need to kind of see it in person. Would you have just a few minutes to show it to her, maybe tomorrow afternoon or Saturday morning? No pressure.
Saturday morning could work. Yeah, Saturday morning could work. I've got a bunch of stuff going on right now. I'm just trying to catch up after my trip. So yeah, maybe if you could be in touch, maybe Saturday we can take a look at it.
Okay, how about 10 a.m. on Saturday? Does that work for you?
Yeah, that sounds okay.
Okay, Neil. All right. Well, I will text you over Susan's contact info, and I'll have her reach out and introduce herself, and then she'll meet you out there at 10 a.m. on Saturday.
Okay, beautiful.
Thanks so much, Neil. Yeah.
Thank you.
And so let's talk about what I did in here. So one of the first things I did is I asked who he was. Now a lot of people in sales are going to tell you not to do that, but I don't care. It works for me. I use what works for me, and I don't really like using that whole, say their name and make sure, like confidently so that they think that, you are someone that they know. I don't like to dupe anyone to anything, okay? And then them feel some type of way that I acted like we're friends when we're not. We're clearly not friends, okay? So I asked, is this a no? And then I'm like, hey, this might sound, strange, but I think you requested a list of homes on the water from Facebook or something like that from this agent that I work with. Her name is Susan. And he remembered that. And then he, then I asked if he got it okay, because a lot of times it goes to spam and stuff like that. Right. So I immediately had a reason to call. I don't just call to be like, hey, you want to list your home? I'm not that type. That's cold calling. I do warm calling. Okay. Now, other people are really great at cold calling, but if you're listening to me right now, my thing, warm internet leads. Okay. And Zillow leads and things of that nature. Okay. I do luxury expires, but that's a whole different thing too. So then I talked to him about it, and he mentioned that he has a home, and I immediately empathized with him because he mentioned that he has a condo that's a standalone condo, which is the same type of home that I live in. And you really can't tell that it is not just a normal home. It's totally single family. It's just not in a really big lot. Our lot is probably 5,000 square feet, when the typical one is like 7,500 or 10,000 square feet in certain areas. Depends on where you live, right? So yeah, so that I was able to connect with him on that, and that was one of the things that we talked about on how to build rapport. And then I was able to connect with him about I said, no pressure to do anything, but in order to like make sure that we know how much your home is worth and everything like that, we'd need to see it in person. And he was cool with that. So the listing appointment happened. They plan on working together. He's going to wait a little bit, and I think his wife comes back in town next month, and they're going to talk about it again then. But yeah, super successful if you ask me. So that is all I have for you guys today. I really appreciate y'all being here and listening, and I will continue to get better at this TikTok live thing so I don't keep screwing it up. But obviously, like I keep saying, you gotta be consistent at something to become competent so that you can become confident. And that is what I'm trying to do. So this is my second week attempting to use TikTok live, and here we go. And I think this one went better than the last one. So we're slowly working our way up that consistency scale to become competent and confident. All right. So I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much. Bye.
If you'd like more information or to get connected to the Agent Power Huddle, join our free Facebook group. This call was designed for the agents in our EXP organization, but open to any agent from any brokerage. If you're a guest and you're interested in learning more about EXP or our specific resources within the Agent Collective, reach out to the person who invited you to this call to get more info. Produced by the Agent Collective Media Network.